And what a mess I did.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, April 12th, 2021 Litchfield Board of Selectmen meeting. The board has just come out of the paperwork review. We'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item this evening is the review and approval of consent items. We have the account payable manifest of April 6, 2021 in the sum of $1,137,629.77 and April 13th of 2021 in the sum of $68,440.24. We have the payroll manifest of April 8th of 2021 in the sum of $55,761.30 and April 15th of 2021 in the sum of $56,624.65. We have the tax collector's March reconciliation. We have a gravel tax levy of $4,470.70. We have 5 veteran credits in the sum of $3,200. We have the acceptance of FEMA funds, project number 4, in the sum of $5,962.68. We have the acceptance of warm zone training funds in the sum of $5,958.04. And we have the acceptance of the Eagle Scout funds in the sum of $324.69. Are there any items members would like to remove from consent?
Just a point of reference here, Mr. Chairman. The AP manifest for 4/13, I'm reading this as I'm speaking with you, reads $0.00. And the payroll manifest for 4/15 also reads 00.
That is the older agenda. If you refresh, you'll have an updated agenda.
Okay. I just pulled this up, so, okay.
Yeah. If you go onto the site and you refresh, Bob, you'll see that that's all been renewed.
Okay. So the veterans credits are also updated because that was the other one that was off.
Yes, they are. We have
Okay.
5 of them in the sum of $3,200.
Okay, because this has 3 at 22. Okay. Very well.
Do we have motion to approve the items?
I will.
We have a motion by Ms. Queenan. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. LaSalle's. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 5-0. Is there any other business members would like to add this evening? Hearing none, public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 PM. First item of business is the March 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them, and do we have any comments or clarifications? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mr. Lynch. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is the Purple Heart Proclamation. Mr. Brown.
Okay, thank you. As the board knows, we have had a couple of discussions about the town of Litchfield becoming a Purple Heart community. And really what that means is that the board would pass the proposed proclamation that you have before you this evening, where we would be, along with other communities throughout the nation, recognizing August the 7th as the national day that we recognize Purple Heart Day. So Purple Heart, for from those that we have veterans that are here with us this evening. Military personnel that were wounded or lost their life in action, they received this honor and they received the Purple Heart. One of the things there's an effort right now going on within our state, making sort of all the communities that have these veterans that have received this award, this medal, to have Purple Heart signs at the entry points of our communities. So we would first proclaim our town as a Purple Heart community, and then we would be working with veterans and the New Hampshire DOT officials and putting up some signs throughout our town so that people, when they're coming or leaving our town, they'd be fully aware that we have residents in our town that were wounded or lost their life in action. And so we've been working on this for a couple months now. It's got to this point where we're going to formally take action on the proclamation. Reached out to our Litchfield veterans. We have them here with us this evening virtually. And I think really to proceed forward, the board would go ahead and approve the proclamation that's been prepared for you.
What the proclamation states is the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Litchfield, New Hampshire, Purple Heart Day proclamation. Whereas the people of the Town of Litchfield have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the residents of the Town of Litchfield who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedom and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas citizens of our community have been wounded in action and killed in action while serving in the armed forces and have been awarded the Purple Heart for their sacrifice. And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest American military decoration and was created as the badge of the military merit, made of purple cloth in the shape of a heart with the word merit sewn upon it on August 7th, 1782 in Newburgh, New York by General George Washington. And whereas the heritage it represents is sacred to those who knew the price paid to wear the Purple Heart. And whereas August 7th is nationally recognized as the Purple Heart Day. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of Litchfield, New Hampshire, will recognize August 7th annually as the Purple Heart Day and urge the people and organizations of Litchfield to display the American flag as well as other public expressions of recognition to our Purple Heart recipients. Proclaimed this 12th day of April, 2021 by the Litchfield Select Board. Do we have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Leary. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. LaSalle's. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Leary.
I have something to put in on that. Warren Adams, who's a local businessman in town, has offered to pay for the signage and the posts that need to go in wherever we decide to put them. We just need to figure out how many we want to do as a group and where they're going to go. And he has volunteered to donate the cost, whatever it is, he's going to take care of it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Yeah. So on that, I vote aye.
Do we have a compilation of names of people who have been awarded the Purple Heart from the town? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Certainly we have had, it'd probably be fairly easy to get the people who have died in war.
Mhm.
But the people who have been awarded the Purple Heart who did not pass away, it's probably a little bit more difficult to do.
Mhm.
But I would like to see, if at all possible, for us to, a lot of communities have the flags that are on the telephone poles.
Mhm.
Something like that would be great if we could,
Nope.
do that.
No,
Do you have any idea, Bobby?
Well,
What I would recommend is that if you could go ahead and you have a broad base of what we have for veterans in the town of Litchfield, and you could send a letter out from the selectmen asking all those veterans if any of they have received the Purple Heart. You could do that, because this way here, there would be basically voluntarily on everybody's part to do that.
Question.
Okay.
Also, would the American Legions or the Veterans Clubs in Hudson local have an idea
Yeah,
too?
have you? I don't know.
Well, that's pretty private, most of the time it's pretty private for folks to you don't really share that. I mean, I belong to the Legion and everything. They never asked me if I received the Purple Heart or Legion of Merit or anything like that. They
Okay.
just as if you're a veteran, and you kind of go from there. But
Mhm.
I think if the Board of Selectmen could go ahead and just craft a letter, and you have the listing of all the veterans that live in Litchfield, and send it out to them, kind of like a mass mailing, if you could do that.
Mhm.
Or you could put it on their Facebook, Litchfield Facebook, and maybe someone could call individually to the town, wherever you just, whether it be the town manager, whoever it may be, you could get that.
Troy, could you do both
Yeah.
of those for us,
I think
please?
Just do a combination of things, do a press release,
Mhm.
get it out there on social media, and then we can also do a direct mailing for all the veterans that are currently receiving a veteran's credit.
That'd be
Exactly.
great.
That's what I would do. Yep.
Mhm.
And I could go ahead and reach out to the folks. We had quite a few folks as we had I call it, put the band together, band of brothers and sisters. And then when we had COVID came, we kind of disappeared a little bit. We still communicate with a lot of people. And I think I told the town manager, we do a show from our house, call it Above and Beyond 6 Feet. So, when we do our next show, we'll kind of put that out too. So,
That'd be great, because you guys had a lot of momentum going before COVID hit.
yeah, we were really rocking. I mean, we were holding signs for Brother LaSalle and the gang over there. And when he was running for reelection at the dump, we were rolling, and we thought we were going to just keep on going, and
Yep.
but we're going to get back together, so we just can't wait. So
Getting the band back together.
that's right.
Mr.
Band of
Chairman,
brothers and sisters, we're ready.
I,
Good work, Bobby.
throughout this process, when Selectman Leary first brought this to the board's attention, he was working with a volunteer over in Amherst. Her name's Marie Grella. And I believe Marie is here. She's a volunteer in the state, who's a resident in Amherst, and she's trying to coordinate this throughout the entire state. I see her phone number is listed there, and I'm not sure if you're able to talk, Marie, if you want to.
Yep, I'm right here.
You're there. So
Welcome.
I
I'm
don't-
right here. I'm sorry to say I could not get on the Zoom meeting, but that's fine. I got on the phone, and I've been listening to what you're doing, and you cannot imagine how ecstatic I am that Litchfield is becoming a Purple Heart community. And I'm sure that Troy shared with you the package, and I was listening to you about your signs, and you were so fortunate to have somebody that has offered to pay for your signs. But let me give you one little point. If and when you order your signs, make sure you say either you have a veteran in your group or the gentleman that's ordering them is a veteran, because you get a 15% discount because the price has gone up. And I haven't gotten all my paperwork together yet to send out new packages. They may honor the price that we were quoted, that it was 6 signs for $5.55. They may honor it, and if they don't, it's the little difference isn't that much. But I am so excited to think that Litchfield is going to be part of this. I can't wait to see where you're going to put your signs and come visit the town of Litchfield to see them.
I'm not sure if Warren Adams is a veteran, but if he's not, I don't know. I won't speak for Rich, but I'll put my name in on the letterhead as well.
Okay.
When we send it up there.
Perfect. And do me do yourself a favor, if it's at all possible. And I heard a little comment about it. If at all possible, and Troy and I have talked about it, if you can get a picture of your proclamation with some veterans and put it in the Union Leader, we can get, with COVID going on, I got a total, obviously, shutdown because I couldn't go to the communities, but a lot of them have reached out to me, and we've been Zooming, and it's working perfect. So if you can send a picture of your proclamation with maybe a few veterans, even if they're select people, into the union leader and tell them that you have become a Purple Heart community, and with my help, and let's get it. You have a veterans page that comes out every Thursday. That's kind of like my Bible page. I read it faithfully every Thursday, and let's let the state know that we're doing this. And if anyone who wants to become a Purple Heart community, please tell them to reach out to me, and we'll make it happen.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby, you want to be
You're
in a picture?
Get
Sure.
as many as you
Yeah,
can.
just let me know when. Just let me know when. I'll be more than happy to. Yep,
Perfect.
absolutely.
And I don't know if Troy explained it to you, but you keep the original proclamation, frame it and hang it in your town hall, and I get 2 copies of it. And Troy has my email address and everything, so you can just send it to me, and then I can file it so you can be on the map. And I hope you understand there's a difference between Purple Heart Community and Purple Heart Trail. The Purple Heart Trail, you can put your name on the sign because you sponsored it, but the Purple Heart Community, it's just that it's the town of Litchfield is a Purple Heart community.
Very well.
Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
No, just thank you very much for your help on this.
Do you
You're
know of any
entirely
way that
welcome.
we could,
And if you know any veterans in another town that would like to become a Purple Heart community, please give them my information. And as soon as I have a new package put together, which should be at the end of the week, I'll mail one to Troy so that he can share it with you, and you can share it with whoever you want so that we can. I want to beat Massachusetts. I want to have this whole state of New Hampshire be Purple Heart communities, and we'll be ahead of Mass.
Like that. I like that.
Yep, that's my mission.
Okay. That a girl.
do you know of
Okay,
any
thank you.
way that we can search for people who have been awarded the Purple Heart
Well,
within the
I
town?
heard you talk about that. What happens is your town clerk, this is something you can do internally, and it really hasn't anything to do with the Purple Heart community now. What happened in the past is the way you could become a Purple Heart community is you had to have one recipient alive of a Purple Heart recipient. The town clerk has those records, and then realistically, they're not public. So I go to the town clerk and I ask if they have one, and they will say yes. Well, then I can file the paperwork, and they can become a Purple Heart community. Apparently, it has changed, and any town or city in the state of New Hampshire can become a Purple Heart community. If, in fact, you choose to find out where or who your Purple Heart recipients are, that's a great history for you to have within your own town. You don't need it now to become a Purple Heart community.
Okay.
Does that help any?
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
You're welcome.
One of the things that I will go to my grave being very proud of is that I grew up and was very close to a first cousin who was same age as I was, and I went off to the Navy, and he volunteered for the draft and went to Vietnam. Unfortunately, he perished June 6th of 1969. And
Oh,
one
I'm
of the
sorry.
things that I am most proud of is just a couple of years ago, I was able to get through the legislature in the state of Illinois, and the highway that runs through his hometown is now named in his memory, which I will go
Fabulous.
to my grave being very proud of that.
Yes.
Oh, you should be very proud. That is fabulous. And I wish more people would step up to the plate and give our veterans more recognition for what they've done. My father was in the Navy. My husband was not. My son was not. And I have no idea why this has become a huge passion of mine. And 2 years ago, I brought the Vietnam Wall to Amherst. And I want to tell you, it was something I will never forget, nor will the people that helped me. And I have lots of memories about it and lots of tears. And the veterans need The veterans need to be recognized. I had a gentleman tell me, a service gentleman tell me, don't thank us for our service. I said, what do you mean? Just welcome us home. And
Okay.
that hit me. And after I thought about it for quite a while, I said, that's great. I'll welcome home the veterans of World War II for who's left, but the Vietnam veterans need to be thanked. They really, really do, and I feel very adamant about it. And the best thing that's happened for the veterans is they're walking around with baseball caps on, telling us that they were in and what branch they served, and when. You can walk up to them and thank them, or you can walk up to them and say, welcome home.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So thank you again, Litchfield. I'm so happy to have you on my roster.
Thank you for all your efforts in thinking of us.
Oh, I think
Awesome.
I'll think of you always now when I see that name in my list.
Very good.
Do we
Thank
have
you,
any other
Troy.
Thank you, Marie. You've been very helpful. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow.
Love it.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, thank you. Be well.
You're welcome.
So we had a motion, we had a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Bobby, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of the veteran Litchfield?
That's good, Bob.
He's a man of few words.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's trying, but he's got
Oh.
he's got some issues.
Okay, I think we went ahead and sent you a prototype of what we were looking for as far as maybe having a logo for the Litchfield veterans. And I know you had a vote on it because we had the town seal and all that. And it would be really good if we could get that approved so we can go forward, start to get our guys together and gals and, give them something to be united as part of the veterans of Litchfield. I
They
think
said
I
that's
said-
legal, right?
What's
right.
that?
That went through legal, right? They came back okay?
Now, it came back, we actually do have a town seal policy. And the advice that came back from legal counsel was that if you needed to keep in mind that this town seal should be, in accordance with our policy, should be used only for town business. And if we're going to allow outside groups, nonprofit agencies, any private individuals to use it, the board could approve that, but you need to understand that if you do grant permission to one group or organization, then it's pretty difficult to say no to other groups and organizations. And the real concern here is that the board doesn't have control over those groups and organizations. And if they're out there promoting a certain message, it may be in conflict with the town or the Board of Selectmen, but they're out there using the town seal, which you gave them permission to use. So it was at her advice, again, she's legal counsel, that you not grant permission to use the town seal and it be strictly limited to only town departments and town business. It's an identity, situation.
What's the feeling on manipulating the town seal or amending the town seal for a specific group?
I personally think the town seal should be separate from any other group.
Does that include the town flag?
So we can have as of right now, we're still in the process of getting an agreement written up so that the town flag is town flag property. So that is a permissible use because it's really the town's flag.
Well, what I'm saying, could the veterans organization, rather than using the seal per se, maybe have the flag rather than the seal?
Well,
It's time.
we could redesign it with the American flag on it, says Litchfield Veterans, if that works for you all.
I mean, I like how it has the tie-in back to the town. I think that's a wonderful thing.
I do too.
You know, I really do. And right now, with the way the town flag stands, I mean, there's no real ownership to the town flag other than the individual that created it,
Right.
Mr. Lepore.
Yeah.
So he is the owner of that right now.
Well, I think Heidi Miller may own the actual design that is on the flag because she is the artist that drew it. So there could be more than one person that has ownership here.
Sure with that thought.
Yep. But I
We could
mean,
just we could redesign the whole thing all over again and submit it to you again, within a week or so.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Well-
I think seeing the town flag would look nice because you kind of incorporate everything.
Yeah.
We just,
Have them propose something.
And I would almost be 100% certain that Heidi Miller would allow it for this group because her mom was a World War II veteran. She was a nurse in the war. So I don't think she would have an issue with it at all. I could ask her if you would like and get back to the board and Bobby. But I think it's important that we approve this for him tonight so that they can start moving.
I agree. I would definitely like them to get moving on a design. Have them start representing, especially with the proclamation this evening. It'd be great to get the swag out there for everybody.
I think we bring more veterans into the group, especially as you go. A lot of people even are not on Zoom or they're not on Facebook, but when you see them at the town and you see them I saw 3 or 4 veterans the other day at the dump and chatted with them and told them that this session was going to be on tonight and what we were doing. And we did that before and we started to really gain some momentum. And I think, you wear your hat, you wear your shirt, whatever you're going to have, it just adds more because you see them all the time and people want to know how can they belong.
I think it's a great way to bring awareness.
Yeah. So what do we need to do, Steve? Do we need to make a motion to approve this or where are we at?
Should we bring one final design back to our next meeting, Bobby? And
Oh,
is
Do
he's,
we want to take action on the seal or do we want to take action on a new design, maybe utilizing the town flag?
what do you think, Bob?
Well, it's whatever will work for you all so you feel comfortable. We'll just make it work. If you tell us that you can't use this, but you want us to redesign it, we'll redesign it and get it to you next week. That's not a problem.
I think there's enough design elements out there. We don't have to depend on the seal or the flag. We can incorporate bits and pieces of a number of design elements to make it say what it needs to say.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bring something back at the next meeting.
Okay. Bobby and Steve, you guys willing to do that? Come up with another design, bring it back, and we'll take action?
Sure. Why not?
We'll make something happen.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
Okay.
The veterans always make something happen.
It's usually accidental, but that's okay.
He's good at that.
Maybe you could do a design of the old muster grounds that the town used for the Revolutionary War.
We just finished one. We just finished one for an office down on Hanscom with a Minuteman and the Paul Revere lantern that's winning all sorts of critical acclaim in those circles. So it really came out nice. So I'm pretty certain we can come up with something that'll be equally as nice.
Great.
Bob, we got it,
Thank
the
you.
muster ground, you said? Over
Yeah.
there, go up that road, the bank's caving in.
All right, you go first.
This guy. The 34-foot drop.
All right, do we have anything else?
Okay.
Bring back for next week is just.
Great. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your service and welcome home.
Thank you, my brothers. You guys be and sister, and make sure you guys stay safe.
You too, be
From
well.
Studio 18 in Litchfield, New Hampshire, we're out.
You too, Bobby.
Let's see.
Be well, Bobby. Be well, Steve.
Oh, gosh. Take care, Steve.
The next we have is the farm lease renewal. Mr. Brown.
I believe this is the third year that we'd be leasing the farmland that we have down at the river access. The agreed price for the previous 2 years was $1,000 The lease term is from January 1 through December 31st, 2021. The Board of Selectmen can only enter into lease agreements for no more than 12 months. So the farmer did reach out to me a couple weeks ago, wanted to make sure that we're still interested in leasing the land to them. And they're very much interested in planting and harvesting their crops again this year. So again, the $1,000 is, it's really a small amount of money. Really, the farmer is doing us a service. They're maintaining the soil, turning it, planting the crops, and then in the fall, turning the soil again. If you go by there right now, you'll see that they put a winter crop of rye over it. So it's, we don't have the ability to do that. So in addition to them doing that kind of work, we're also receiving $1,000 per year.
By the way, it was fun doing the plowing.
You're doing the plowing?
I've been there too many times.
Yep.
Do you have any questions from any members of the board?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we renew the lease.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Lynch, second by Mr. Larry. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next we have is the 2021 paving program. Mr. Brown.
Hey, I've been working with Road Agent Brown. We went back and, upon approval of the warrant article and the operating budget, we went back to our list of proposed streets. We've driven down those streets to make sure nothing's really changed, because we put this list together, last fall. I mean, it's part of our 5-6 year roadway improvement plan. So, but before we go and actually do the work, we do like to go out there and observe the streets, make sure the work that we're proposing still makes sense and nothing's changed. So pleased to report that the roads that we discussed during the budget hearings and during deliberative session are all remaining on the schedule. There are Page Road, Laurel Street, Birch Street, Sparrow Lane, Pheasant Lane, Aaron Way, and Cranberry Lane. So anyone at home, if you didn't hear this during deliberative session or during some of the budget hearings, you might question why we're doing Page Road, and you need to understand that 2 years ago, we did a full reclamation of Page Road, and we just put down a 2-inch binder, which is the base course. We let that sit there for 2 years to really settle in, and now what we're doing this year is putting down the 1-inch overlay, the final wearing course. But if you were to drive down Page Road today, you'd think it's in good shape. The other thing with Page Road, we have reached out to our neighbors. There's a small section at the end which turns into the town of Hudson. And Hudson has coordinated with Continental Paving. So when we do this paving, it will be able to go from start to finish the full length of Page Road. So that will be good. Also, same thing with Aaron Way and Cranberry Lane. That was work that was done last year. Again, 2-inch binder. So we'll be going over that with the finished wearing course. The one street that we'd like to add, have the board consider adding this year, is Pilgrim Drive. And we're able to add another street to the list of roads because we're able to utilize our impact fees. And in our operating budget, we have a $20,000 line item, and we're proposing to use that. The reason Pilgrim Drive has come to our attention is we've done a lot of patchwork this winter. It's at that point where it really needs some care. So one of the things that was interesting is when we went back and looked at our 5-year, 6-year plan, Pilgrim Drive wasn't on the plan. But, the condition that it's in is definitely high priority street. We think that what happened, that Pilgrim Drive was scheduled to be done probably 2 years ago. And when doing the plan, we thought it was going to be done, and that's why it wasn't added to the 5-year. So all together, we've been working with Continental Paving. We started working with them back in January, getting cost estimates. The total cost for this project would be $407,811. Using our revenue sources, we have about $411,000 available for funding. So should be coming in right there within budget. If the board is interested and has no objections to this scope of work, I did prepare a motion. Our auditors, because there's a couple things going on here, we're sole sourcing this, the Continental Paving. We have done that for a couple of years. And we do that because prior years, we would spend a lot of money with private engineering fees, preparing a very comprehensive scope of work. It was about 5-inch binder. We'd go out with legal notices, advertise, and probably spend, $20,000 upfront money on design and legal advertising and pre-bid conferences. And we only found that Continental Paving was the only bidder. The other local contractors just didn't seem to have an interest in our community. So for the last couple of years, we've gone directly and negotiated directly with Continental Paving. It's the quality of the work, the cooperation that we get with them is exceptional. And as we know, we're able to get our work done very early in the paving season, whereas other communities wait until late in the fall, late summer. So I'll read a motion that covers all the bases for our purchasing policy, and the auditors find this acceptable language. So my suggested motion is in accordance with Section 9, exceptions, and Section 10, local advantage of the town purchasing policy. I move to authorize a contract and purchase order with Continental Paving Incorporated not to exceed $407,811 for the 2021 road improvement projects. Said funds to come from the highway block grant, $190,000. The 2021 encumbrances, $50,000. Warrant article number 7, $100,000. Impact fees, $51,000. And the road maintenance budget line item in the amount of $20,000.
Okay, thank you.
We have followed budget guidelines as we said.
Correct. What we presented at deliberative is.
And that's
what is
what's
here.
important right now. Okay. Motion, we accept it.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Queenan. Do we have discussion?
No.
All in
Anyone that's
favor?
worried about, the sole sourcing thing, again, I'll reflect Troy's sentiments. Continental Paving is probably the best paving company that's out there, period. And he treats the town really, really well. And he's doing us a favor more than we're doing him a favor. He doesn't need this contract, but he's doing it for the town because they've lived here for a long time. And I don't think anyone should ever raise a question about them. They're legit people. They're very honest and hardworking people. And we could do a lot worse than having them, but they take very good care of us.
Yeah, thank you for those comments.
Yeah, I echo those comments. They're fantastic to work with.
And the added, it's not whether they're good to work with. No one wants to come in here because they're here. That's what, and the other crews are in the other towns where they're from, doing the work there too. So really, we're blessed in a way.
Yeah, and one last comment, just so everyone really understands what's going on. The owner of Continental Paving, or one of the owners, personally drives down every one of these streets.
Yep.
And does an assessment and works with his staff on the pricing and scope of work.
Yep.
And advises us what we should be doing, and we're using that advice.
It's a great asset to have.
Yep.
So we had a, we had a motion, we had a second.
Mhm.
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next, we have a resignation of acceptance of Tom Levesque Conservation Commission. Mr. Brown.
We did receive a written resignation from Mr. Levesque. He's resigning from the Conservation Commission. He was a regular voting member. It is important to note that in his resignation, he mentioned that he has served over 50 years, or approximately 50 years with the town in various capacities. It's a citizen in our community, so that's pretty impressive years of service.
It is, very much. Thank you very much for your years of service. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, he's really done this town a service over the years, and we need to thank him properly.
How about some free haircuts for a couple of years?
Do we have a motion to accept the resignation?
So move.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. Any further discussion?
And
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
reluctantly.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next item is Jason Brennan, alternate to the Conservation Commission. Term expires March 31st of 2024. Mr. Brown.
We've been informed by the Conservation Commission that Jason Brennan has expressed interest in serving as an alternate member. He met with the Conservation Commission at their last meeting. We were notified by email that they would like to have him appointed as an alternate member.
I think he'll make a fantastic member of the Conservation Commission, based off of his professional life and what he does around town, helping everybody out in this amount of time he spends out on the land. I think he's going to give him a valuable service.
He work.
He does.
I just,
Works for works for an engineering firm.
and that's kidding.
And normally he would travel a lot, but he hasn't been traveling recently because of COVID. So
Yeah, he's a good
I
egg.
don't know. I don't know whether he'll have to travel a lot in the future or not, but
I will say, when he was on the zoning board,
He was on planning
wow.
also for a while.
okay, and he attended 99%. He was doing his engineering, so he traveled. But Conservation meets once a month. Okay, but he can get some other stuff in the meeting.
Yeah, I think he sat on the planning board for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept Jason Brennan as an alternate to the Conservation Commission with a term expiring March 31st of 2024?
so move.
We have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Larry.
I was gonna.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next, we have Alan Sandler, alternate to the library trustee. Term expires March 31st of 2022. Mr. Brown.
We were approached by the library trustees asking that the board would appoint Alan Sandler. He's already an alternate member, but reappoint him as another alternate member for, as you said, the term to expire a year from now.
Make a motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Queenan. Any discussion?
When I first read this, I thought it said Adam Sandler.
I was afraid I was going to read it wrong.
I almost said it.
All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Next, we have the administrator report. Mr. Brown.
I've got a few items to discuss this evening. One is I was notified today, and actually when I was out doing some site visits the end of last week, I did notice the same thing. But the Old Town Hall, the roof, we have numerous shingles laying on the ground. So you can't do a visual inspection from the ground, but one has to assume that the roof is not in good shape. So this is definitely on the south side, I'm told. The roof was last replaced in 1974, so I'm going to assume again that the roof's not in good shape, and I don't think we just get up there and patch it. I think we really need to get a roofer up there and take a look at it, and my assumption is they're going to say you need to replace the roof.
Mr. Brown, I thought the shingles were included in the painting contract.
No, that's the shingles vaccine.
Very good, Robert.
He always likes locations. Let it go with that.
So one of the things that this board just recently approved, a contractor to do the roof down at the recycling facility did a fantastic job, did it very quickly, and did exactly what they said they were going to do. So where we've already went out for roofing quotes, and we had 3 quotes, they came in low bidder. It is in our purchasing policy that we can actually work directly with that contractor. And if we're not happy with the pricing, then we could go out and get additional quotes. But just because this is a historical building, there's a lot of historical artifacts and information in that building. I just think, we really need to act quickly. I've not contacted the contractor we just recently used, but I'm hopeful that they could respond as quickly as they did for the recycling facility. We would use our building systems trust fund, $59,000 available in that fund right now, and this is what those monies are for. I consider this roof truly is in that type of condition. I do consider it an emergency situation. You don't want another wind event. We've already had 2 significant wind events, and once those shingles loosen up, the next event, it can really start tearing stuff off. I mean, Selectman Lynch, he's been in the trade for a while and probably has witnessed it, so.
The blue top wouldn't look good up there for a couple of years.
Well, it's black, historic black.
It's dark black, okay. Yeah, if the shingles there are bitter. They're dry, they're cracking. That's why they're coming off in the wind. It's time. 74.
It's a long time.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
That's 50 years almost.
I-
They made good shingles back then. I don't know. That's what Mr. Calloway told me.
Okay, the history, man.
If he said it, it's probably true.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not
gonna.
gonna argue with him.
It can't do us any harm to get that contractor out there who just, did the successful
Go look
project
at
for
it.
us at the recycling center, to have them go look at it.
He's done these before. That same contractor.
Yep.
He'll go up and- If there's, you got your 70. That many years, huh? Got a barn roof that I can't keep up that far.
So that a historic building should be able to get some access, or at least ask for money for maintenance of these.
You could, but those are usually,
Slow.
yeah, those are grant rounds, and I don't know when the next one is. And but you know what? Sometimes, I could be wrong here. Sometimes you can apply after the fact. It's
Might be worth
possible
looking into.
where you actually had to take action because of it being an emergency.
Yeah.
Then you could be qualified for potential reimbursement when that grant round opens up.
You can't get it.
I could be wrong.
Could you go out and, could you look at that? Why we haven't looked at?
Yeah,
Just ask that
ask the question.
And at the same time, will insurance help you too?
No, this would be a mate. I
I'm an optimist.
can try, but
I'm an optimist.
I think the first thing we need to do is have it investigated and see what we're looking at from a price point.
Get a number.
Yeah.
It's not a hard roof to do.
oh no.
Very simple roof.
Yeah, and also maybe when it gets redone, they could possibly do ice and water shield all the way up over the top, the peak. In case any shingles ever fail in the future, at least you'll have that barrier underneath that won't let water through. Because even tar paper will leak at times.
That's a good idea there, because what they got up there now, it's 15 pound.
Yeah.
Paper. That turns it crumbles after so many
I
years.
think at recycling, they went up 9 feet with the ice and water dam
Yeah.
is what I think I was told.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
We used it here, went up 6 feet here. We changed the roof because of the ice dams.
So, I just wanted, are we good with the concept that we go directly to iRoof just because we
I
just,
agree.
and then I don't go out and then, the next meeting, I should have a quote and should know what the cost is. And you can vote to authorize, to spend from the capital reserve fund.
Is there anyone who disagrees with that approach?
We're allowed to do it under the,
No, as long as he's reasonably priced, which I'm sure he will be. Mr. Marchand's a nice guy, and he'll probably take care of us.
the local too.
Who does fantastic work.
Was a local.
Yep, he lives in town.
Yep.
I can hold that against him, though.
They don't decide the track, you're east, north, or west.
Couple of things, update on Pennachuck Waterworks with the proposed rate increase. We haven't talked about that much since the town meeting, but I will let you know that as far as the effort going on with the communities joining up together, what we have done is a consulting firm has been hired, Russell Consulting. They're out of Massachusetts. And they've already started digging into the material, taking a look at the justification of why the proposed rate increase is high as it is. But one of the first things that's going to quickly happen will be a temporary rate adjustment. And Pennachuck Waterworks, I believe they had filed for 15% temporary rate. It looks like right now, just with the PUC staff, that there'll be maybe a 1% less approved. We're going to be looking to see what those numbers are, and maybe we'll be proposing something a little less. I mean, I can't talk too much about it public.
Based on the conversation we had with legal counsel that night, they said this is a typical thing that they would do.
Yeah, they will be granted a temporary rate. That will happen. So I just wanted the board to be aware that that's going to be happening. It'll be happening soon. What it ends up being, I'm not sure. And also, I think everyone, if you're on Pennachuck, or you've seen the signboard flashing, Pennachuck's really making a huge effort, trying to give public notice that they will begin the waterline flushing program, and that goes from April 5th through May 7th. So
They've
haven't
started.
seen- it started.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Down by Wilson's, they had the hydrant open the other day.
They've had it in a few places.
There's some coffee.
Recycling Way, I think we probably all are aware that we took some trees down,
Mhm.
cleared the site. So I know a lot of people were asking a lot of questions. I've heard that we were building an Irving gas station. It was going to be the site for the new police station. But as of right now, we just were clearing the site so that we could, the next step would be to try to reclaim the entry point there so we could improve our site distance for folks exiting the facility.
Yep.
Continental Paving has contacted me and has said that they would, as a project that they would like to do for the town at no cost, they will put an excavator on site, work that bank, and looks like it's all sand, so it should be pretty straightforward work. They'll stump the site. I'm going to work with them on where we're going to put the stumps, and they'll just grade it up and just rough it up for us, and make it look good. So that would be really good, because I was planning on working with some engineers and getting a design and a cost estimate, which would be like a warrant article for next year. But if everything goes as planned, this will be done as a donation to
A
the
little bit of history on that. Rick was road agent for a little while here in town. One of his proposals was to improve that site distance he didn't get too far because it's a state road. Okay, and stuff like that. And Rick is happy to see this happen because he's the one that started it many years ago.
Yep.
He was here.
1980, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So that was, that's a good report. We'll
Yep.
keep seeing some progress down there. I also wanted to bring it to your attention. I don't have a lot of information right now, but information is coming out. Every week we learn a little bit more. But the American Rescue Plan is going to be federal funding that will be coming to the state and eventually making its way to all the cities and towns in New Hampshire. This is going to go on throughout the whole country. Right now, we've got Litchfield earmarked at about $840,000. There'd be conditions, obviously, on what those funds could be spent for, and the funds will be, I think it's March 11th, 2024. We'll have till that time to expend the funds. And like I said, we'll, as we learn more from the U.S. Department of Treasury on guidance and guidelines on what the funds can be spent for and what they can't be used for, we'll be working with staff and coming forward with proposals for this board to consider. So I just wanted to make sure, if you haven't seen it out there, you're going to hear a lot of talk about the American Rescue Plan. Probably, some of the bigger cities, you're going to see newspaper articles and stuff of them spending their money. They're operating some of those homeless shelters. They've been, the transportation system. So out of the gate, they'll probably be spending some funds pretty quickly. This Wednesday, April the 14th, the proposed sidewalk for Pinecrest, that extension, will be doing a presentation to the first review board. So it's just a quick, really informal presentation. We've already submitted our written application, but this allows time for the reviewers to really just ask questions and get to understand the project and the purpose of the project a little bit better. So I'll be presenting that information this Wednesday. Working with Jay, he won't be able to, he's actually going to be away on vacation Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but he and I will be preparing the presentation and going over the notes and stuff tomorrow. So keep you posted on that. I'm hopeful that project is considered for funding. It's a very competitive process, but I still believe we have a great project.
Dave Ventura.
Yes. Flagpole replacement. We heard about the flagpole out here in front of the police station, fire station that came down. We're worked with our insurance company. As of right now, we have preliminary insurance approval. So I have a quote from Barlow, $6,500 to replace it. That's with the condition that they're able to attach it to the existing base that's underground, underneath the pavement. They seem to think that they're going to be able to do that. So we would be responsible for $1,000 of the deductible. So that was good. I didn't know if it was going to be covered with the insurance. As of right now, we have preliminary approval. And the last item that I have is that I provided you some paper copies, but also attached to the portal here, there's a PDF that I last week was going through some files and found a memo. Apparently, we have a conflict of interest ordinance. It was adopted at town meeting, March 12th, 1982. So I think, from here, as I haven't shared this with legal counsel yet, but I think that's probably the first step. If she feels that it's, I'm sure if he's going to have some questions. I don't know if it's still enforceable. I would assume it's still on the books, so it is. But we would need to make an effort to get the word out to all of our town employees and elected officials and committee members, make them obviously aware that this is the ordinance that we have, and do some outreach and training. And if we have to update the ordinance, that we can work on that between now and the next town meeting.
I think
This
after
is
we get
not
this-
in the employment.
I think we need to add it to that, get individuals.
Still, no matter what, just add it to that now.
But yeah,
Yeah. I don't see Roland's name.
it was amazing. So anyhow, that's what I have to report this evening.
Thank you. Next, we have selectmen reports. Mr. Leary.
Budget Committee meets next week. We did have a resignation of a member, and we'll be looking forward to appointing a new member. I think it's going to happen at next week's meeting. All goes according to plan.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Queenan.
The planning board meets on Tuesday, April 20th. We are also doing a project, we're reviewing our industrial land use laws on 3A and 102, just as a checkup. NRPC will meet Wednesday, their quarterly meeting, June 16th, 2021 at 7 PM, and the meeting details are on their website.
Okay, great, thank you. So I sat in for Selectman Lynch at the conservation meeting. During that meeting, they did appoint Matt Lepore as the new chairman for this session. As Joan Gibbon was the vice chair. During that time, we had the Tom Levesque resignation. We had the appointment of Jason Brennan. Then they just talked about a couple land purchases. From a capital improvement standpoint, we did meet a week ago Monday. We went back through all the different warrant articles and what made it and what didn't make it. We did a review of the town and the school. And our next quarterly meeting is going to be Monday, July 19th. And the objective of that meeting is going to be review the project updates to the CIP, add new projects that have been identified, and we're going to be looking at the total cost of all projects and re-reviewing prioritization of the plan that we already had in place. So we're really trying to keep this a living, breathing document. From a recreation standpoint, the next rec meeting is tomorrow evening. Mr. Lynch.
Since you went to the meeting, I'm very quiet. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for taking over. Reading the minutes here. The date on the warden and the chief was, says here, 2024.
No, so, well, if they typed that way, they're wrong.
Wrong date.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. It's a correction, okay?
Mr. LaSalle's.
No specific meetings to report on, other than the Pinnichuck hearing that Troy talked about. I participated in as an intervener. And since we have a very active group here in Litchfield, I'd like to figure out a way that we can contribute in some way, maybe doing research or something. And I'll be calling you to get contact information. I haven't really reached out to anybody so far with respect to that. We had a very active week this week with the legislature. We met on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and at the indoor soccer stadium in Bedford. And it was a very active week, and we'll probably have a session with the Senate bills probably early in May. The PFOA committee is still in need of some representation because of the resignation. Have we any action on that, or?
I got an email yesterday on it, so I'll forward it off. It was from the chair of that saying that we could appoint somebody else onto it from a
Okay.
resident standpoint.
Do we have any volunteers or anything so far, or where do we stand with it?
Last I knew, our last representative actually reached out to my wife to see if she had any interest. And she was curious because my brother-in-law may have litigation against it in a class action, or where that would stand. And I don't know how that was vetted out, but we should at least put it out and see if there are any residents out there that would be interested sitting on that. And then we would be the appointing agent.
It would be good if we could get somebody who was directly impacted
Yeah.
from, like Corning Road or something in the north end, you know? Someone who has a direct interest.
It's actually traveled a little further south because three of my neighbors have tested above the safe levels as they put it out now, just on the other side of me. Um,
North
so
of you
I mean,
or-
north of me, just north of me. So it's definitely coming further south than I think what everybody thought. But they have said that they will test the waters, and I'm actually going to get mine tested again, because some of them that had false readings or negative readings before now are getting positive readings. So,
Well, that's not good news.
Yeah, thanks for the information, Bob. I'll probably have ours tested then.
yeah.
It's something else to look into that too, and it's happening in the center of town a little bit, I know. Down near the farm, a quiet question, the well across the street, dug well came back positive. But also, there was a brush fire back there, not too far from that well, on the backside there. And fire department was using Class A foam, which has PFOAs in it. That stuff just goes, and it's in a collection area. Water doesn't move much in there. So, Bob, in that case, you're talking just north of you. I do recall some brush fires in that area over the years. So,
Well, they were negative before and now they're positive. So,
yeah, I'm just saying, you know.
yeah.
Okay, so Troy, I'll send you that email that I
Okay.
received. And maybe we.
So is that a state official that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So then what I'll do is get that information and we'll get a press release out, get some names generated for your next meeting.
okay. The letter that came forth, and actually my daughter had it, is from Golder Associates. And it tells you who to contact with the DES and all that. So I can send that out if you want. You want me to send that to the board?
Please.
Okay.
Is that? Okay, is it one of her wells there? Bob,
Pardon me?
was it her well,
Who's well?
your daughter's
Sam's?
well?
Well, Sam's having hers done again. Yeah, my daughter's having hers done again.
You have in that location is a different type of well use there. Good one, but
Well, I have a hand dug well myself.
yeah, those are good. The the thermal, where you got a
Yeah.
rotation. That draws it in a little differently. Great idea to heat your house, I know that.
Geothermal's fantastic.
Yep.
Anything else,
Yep.
Mr. LaSalle's?
No,
Okay, thank you. Seeing that it is 7:35, I'd like to open it up to public input. Are there any members of the public that would wish to provide input this evening? The only one we have up there, looks like, is the chief.
He needs to go tuck his kids in.
One more thing that I was listening to, I want to bring.
Okay, seeing no public input, I'll close public input. Yes, Mr. Lynch.
Facebook, whoever thought of it, sometimes a closed door is nice. The clearing of the brush underneath the power lines or the lines, the road power lines, there's some talk about that. Frank Byron sent out some information to the people on that, and they're supposed to call the town and Eversource, people with concerns. As you know, every once in a while, Eversource hires a crew underneath their easement that they have. They go in there and brush that area out. That's what's the concern, because it's messy. But they have a right to do that. And did Pinecrest, years ago, the whole length of it, just about. It's starting to grow up again. They did a section, so this past winter, I saw them out doing it. I just wanted to let you know, Troy, you'll probably be getting some calls, but there's some stuff that Frank Byron had put on that site about the rights that both have. So you'll know what's going on. Okay, I'll forward it to you by pencil.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We had no other business. We do have two more things on the agenda this evening. It's non-public sessions. One is under RSA 91A:3 2C reputation. And we have another under RSA 91A:3 2E pending litigation. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lynch. Roll call. Mr. Larry.
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's. Mr. Lynch.
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. The board is now entering non-public session. While we do not anticipate the need to return to public session following the non-public session for any reason other than to adjourn, we reserve the right to do so if the non-public session necessitates the board taking action in a public session. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're now in non-public. I hope everyone is well.